In this session, we're going to look at lessons 111 through 113. In this first lesson, 111, you guys get to do your favorite logarithms. So we're going to add more to logarithms. Two different concepts here. And in this first concept, and in both of these, we're looking at the base. Okay, the base here is 4. The base here is 1/3. And you're going to switch this from logarithmic form to exponential form. And we're going to work these problems both at the same time. So we're going to go 4. And the way this is going to work is this 4 is actually going to, because we're not dealing with an equal sign. See, we're dealing with inequalities, greater than, less than. Because we're not dealing with an equal sign, it matters which side this goes to. So this is actually going to go to this side. So you're going to have x minus 2 is less than 4 cubed. Okay, same thing over here. We have x minus 6, and then we have 1/3 to the 4th power. Now notice I didn't put the inequality sign down yet. The reason is because this base is greater than 1. This base, being 1/3, is less than 1. When the base is greater than 1, you leave the inequality sign alone. When the base is less than 1, 1/3, you actually flip the inequality sign. So that's the only trick you've got to remember in these types of problems. Okay, so now let's work these out from here because they're actually going to be very similar. I just wanted to show you guys that one trick. So from here, we're going to have a 4 cubed, and so x is, and we can bring the 2 to the other side. And so 4 cubed is going to be 64. We bring this plus 2, not 6 to the 4th, 64. So x is less than 66. Now to finish this one out here, x is less than 66. But obviously that didn't mean x is 66. It is less than 66. So there's a lot of possibilities that it could be. So when you go back and you're plugging numbers in here, x cannot be less than 2, or it can't even be equal than 2. Because remember, logarithms have to be positive numbers. So x can be less than 66, but it also has to be greater than 2, so it fulfills the requirements here. Let's finish this one out. So we have x is less than 1/3 to the 4th power is going to be 1/81. And then bring the 6 over, you hit plus 6. So x is less than 6 and 1/81. And no need to put that in improper fraction. But same thing as we did here, x must also be greater than 6. So it fulfills. So it's somewhere in between above 6 and below 6 to the 1/81. So very specific numbers there in that one. But that is it for lesson 111. In lesson 112, we're going to do more on binomial expansion, which is that chart, that big triangle, Pascal's triangle that you guys worked on. The only thing is we're now going to outkick the coverage on that triangle. So we're going to need a formula. So this formula is n factorial over n minus k plus 1 factorial times k minus 1 factorial. And then you're going to have just letters f and s. And then whatever number you come up with this first one is going to be the exponent here. Whatever number you come up with the second one is going to be the exponent there. And that's really all it is. Now when you look at this formula, to me it looks intimidating. But when you plug it in, it's not. So this 12 is going to be the n. And whatever term they want you to come up with is going to be the k. So they want you to come up with the 8th term in this one. So of a f plus s 12. So it'll be 12 factorial over, now this is going to be 12 minus 8 plus 1. 12 minus 8 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So this first one is going to be 5 factorial. Now the second one is going to be 8 minus 1, which is 7 factorial. So that means the exponent for this is going to be 5, and the exponent for this is going to be 7. The only thing you have to do now is the math of 12 factorial divided by 5 factorial times 7 factorial, which ends up being in your calculator 792. So we get 792 f to the 5th, and then the second number will be to the 7th power. So this is the 8th term. That actually was not bad at all when you look at the formula. That's how you do lesson 112. In lesson 113, we're going to be looking at synthetic division, which is these, if you guys will remember these from Algebra 2, possibly Algebra 1, don't know if you got into it there. Cool thing is, in your calculator, you go to Programs, and under Programs, you're going to hit synthetic division. It's going to be toward the bottom, and it's going to look like what it says at the top, Program Synthetic Division. Now, I'll just have this up here. If you'll look, the first question they're going to ask you is what degree it is, and the degree is the x cubed. So it'll be third degree because you look at the biggest one inside there. Then the coefficients, you'll notice we put 1, -4, 0, and 13 because that's what they were, 1, -4, 0, and 13. And then it'll ask for the divisor, and that's important because right here it's -3, x minus 3, but it's actually the opposite sign, so you're going to put 3. Then when you hit enter, you can see what it is going to give you. It is going to give you 1, -1, so 1, -1, -3, and 4. So your answer is going to be x squared, x, and then it's going to be a remainder of 4. So it'll be -3 plus 4 over x minus 3. And that is going to be your answer. So that is how you take it from what we have on the board, plug it in, and then that is what your answer looks like. That is how you do synthetic division. Part 2 of lesson 113 is very similar to part 1 because you're doing synthetic division. You're going to go to the same app that you did before, but the question that they're asking is -2 a 0 of this? And so basically you're just going to put it in like you did before. The only difference is you're not going to use the opposite sign of the divisor. So if they're asking if -2 actually goes in there, you're going to write -2. And what you're going to discover is on the answer, and what you're looking at is this last digit right there. And you see how it's 12 and not 0. If that was 0, then you would say yes, -2 is a 0 of this problem. But since it's not, since it's a 12, the answer is no, it is not a 0 of this polynomial. We're going to look at one more and show you that it is a 0. Last example we're going to look at on lesson 113 is synthetic division here, and the question is -1, is it a 0? And here is the problem that they give you. So you plug this into your calculator, and what you see is the last number there. This would be easier if I hold it like this. Last number there is a 0. So the answer is yes, -1 is a 0 of this problem. That's it for lessons 111 through 113.